The last tips I was going to mention is practicing effectively, using your time effectively. I used to, when I was much younger, in my teens, play 10 hours a day. I'm not kidding. In the summertime, I had all my other friends and we all played guitar and we would play that much amount of time. But I wouldn't have called it practicing 8 hours a day, just playing 8 hours a day, having a great time. When I was practicing, that was something different. I was working on specific things, and it required a little bit more concentration than just hanging out with my buddies and playing. And our minds can only take in so much information, and then you get to a point where you just start going a little blatty, all right? So when you're taking in, say, one measure or two measures of something that you're just learning for the first time, you want to sit there, really concentrate on just those two measures, really learn them as best you can. And then David Bromberg used to say this. He said he used to learn one measure, then he'd learn the next one, then he'd go back to the first one, put those two together. Then he'd learn the third one. Then he'd go back to the first and put those three together, and so on and so forth. It's like building a wall, just building a wall, one brick at a time. But here's the thing. You want to dedicate a certain amount of time each day, if you can, if your schedule allows it, to practice. And I found it helpful to practice as much as you can in the same place. It's good, but sometimes you can't do that. I know when I'm on the road, I've motels, hotels, wherever I can, I'm going to do it. But usually, if you have one little place to practice, your designated place in your home, apartment, travel trailer, it just seems to give a little bit of continuity. Lends some continuity to where you're playing. You're playing in the same place all the time. You're practicing with the same concentration. For some reason, that seems to work for a lot of people. When you're practicing something very difficult, I usually have something like a 50 penny rule. I have this little coin box, and I have 50 pennies in it. And I practice and I move a penny from one side of the table to the other. And I keep doing that until the bowl of pennies is empty. Everybody's got their own thing. That's one little method I use. But here's something, if you're going to divide your time between playing the guitar and practicing the guitar. Playing the guitar is one thing. You're playing things that you already like and you're familiar with. And that's a lot of fun. But that's not practicing. Practicing is the stuff that gives you a headache, the stuff that really you have to buckle down to. That's your practice time. And that practice time should be very sacred. That's where you're really going to, even if it's 20 minutes to a half hour out of the time that you have during the day to play the guitar, that 20 and 30 minutes during the day is where you're going to practice the guitar. You're really going to work on a particular technique or a little lick or something to really work that into your system. But sometimes we don't have the hour a day or 2 hours a day. Here's the most important thing I can tell you. You may not have that time. I know some of my students, they're all adults. They may not have that time to practice every day. So I tell them this. You can probably find 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Take the one lick that's giving you the most trouble, and just for 5 minutes, do it for 5 minutes, that's all. When you get to the next day where you actually do have a lot of time, you're going to be surprised doing that. It's sort of like keeping the machine oiled. The last thing I want to say is try and keep your practice daily. Every day. It really works. Every day. You may miss a day. maybe get that 5 minutes in. But even sometimes if you just miss one day and you've got 6 other days where you practiced real well, sometimes missing that one day actually isn't that bad, because it gives your fingers and your mind a chance to process stuff. I don't know how it works, but it does. So try these tips out for yourself. You may have ones that you really work for you, and that's all good. Do them. But these are the things that have worked for me, and I hope they help you.